Hi, and welcome back to part 2 of shark fishing in San Francisco. If you have not watched part 1, here is a link to watching part 1 here. The link to part 1 is also in the description below. Anyway, just a quick recap. We still have our 2 objectives, which includes completing Karen and I's first fishing trip as a married couple, and to try and find a shark bigger than 6 feet. Now before part 1 ended, we were heading our way to Alcatraz Island, where large 7-gill sharks are known to prowl. However, the wind conditions were super intense that day, with gusts up to 25 to 30 miles per hour that morning. We tried to anchor up by Alcatraz, but unfortunately we were not able to station ourselves properly, and we had to abandon Alcatraz and go to another fishing hole by Angel Island. Once we reached Angel Island, we were protected from the winds, and to be quite honest, it was a totally different playing field, with the waters being less, hazardous. Since we were going for larger sharks, Captain Mark swapped the squid out for a whole trout. The logic being only a big shark could be able to engulf such a bait. Not long after we threw the bait overboard, I was able to hook onto something, and the fight was a good one. However, when I thought it might have been a 7-gill or a superfin shark, it proved to be just another leopard shark, which seemed to have inhaled the entire trout. It was a great fight, and probably a reminder that I need to get back to the gym and not skip arm day.
So 51 inch,
Yeah,
51 inch leopard shark off Angel Island, only here at White Kraken Sport Fishing. Bye-bye.
Even though that was not a 6-foot shark, that 51-inch leopard shark proved to be my new personal best as far as leopard sharks go. Nonetheless, we got a new trout in the water and waited to see if Karen would get herself a monster shark. Like before, something whacked the trout, and Karen was fighting against another shark. After a good fight, it proved that the shark was actually another leopard shark, and even though it was not as big as mine, it was actually Karen's new personal best as far as leopard sharks go. So it's a win-win for both of us today. It was close to noon, and the afternoon wind was starting to pick up a bit. But before we wrapped things up, one last shark decided to take the trout. I quickly hooked it and began to reel it in. Obviously, I could tell it was not a leopard shark, and I kind of thought maybe this could have been a 7-gill shark. Once we brought it aboard, it became clear it was not a 7-gill, but actually a spiny dogfish, and Captain Mark pointed out the 2 distinct spikes on the dorsal fins. While this was much smaller than my leopard shark, this shark was so cool, especially with the cool green eyes they had. I was really impressed with this shark, and I know it looked a bit of a bloody mess, but trust me, it was fine once we threw it overboard. So the trip was over, and I have to say, Karen and I had a fantastic time, and we ended up catching 20 fish that entire day, all which were caught and released safely. The larger shark of the day was my leopard shark, which was about 51 inches, which was quite a big shark. Karen was able to get her own personal best as well as far as leopard sharks go. The coolest shark of the day has to be the Pacific spiny dogfish. The eyes, the body shape, it was just too cool. As far as our objectives, while we didn't find a shark that's bigger than 6 feet, we did accomplish the more important goal, completing Karen and I's first trip as a married couple. But of course, this trip would not have been possible without Captain Mark at White Kraken Sport Fishing. If you've not checked out his website, I'll provide the link again. Captain Mark is a great captain, happy to show newcomers and pro fishermen the ropes of going after sharks in the bay. Even if you are a single angler, reach out to Mark, and he'll try and get you to join in on a trip with another group of anglers. Thank you again for watching this video, and I really hope to see you guys soon.